All right.
So I report to the cloud, right?
Yeah.
Okay, recording. All right, Mr. Bass. So happy that you're here.
Yeah.
For those that don't know Mr. Bass, a lot of us we call him the badass bass. There's a reason to it. We might discover that today. Welcome to my podcast. It's called 12 Summers. Do you know why it's called the 12 Summers?
No, why is it called?
Have it? Have I ever taught? I've never told you, huh? So 12 Summers is a context. Um, it's a context of how little time we have with our kids, you know, before they turn into young adults. And we have 12 summers of that time with them, 12 years basically,
Okay.
to have that intimate, innocent, naive time with them. And it's also the best time to teach them while they're still willing to listen. While they're still willing to put up with my bullshit. You know, a lot of men told me like, yes, at best you get 12 years. And a lot of times you get like 10 years or 9 years, but at best you get 12. And I completely agree with them. Because I think back to when I was a kid, like, yeah, around 12 years old, I'm like, I don't hear anything from you. I got this.
I've got a
Don't
perfect
talk to me.
I've got a
Yeah.
perfect example. I was about that old. My grandparents took me to Tahiti,
Oh.
and I'm in a car with my grandparents. We're driving around this like just gorgeous, gorgeous island with just, the scenery is just incredible. And I'm in the back seat of this car as we're driving around the island, taking the scenic tour. I'm reading my Doctor Who comic book.
Okay.
My grandparents are trying to engage me and talk to me and whatever, and they said, well, stop, take a minute, like look around. What do you see? And I said, uh, trees and bushes and rocks. My comic book. And that was it. I was such a little brat, but
Yeah.
it's amazing that in that moment, that's what I said. And I was annoyed because I just wanted to read my comic book and I didn't want to be in a car.
Mm-hmm.
But as an adult, I have that same memory in that same moment, and I can appreciate now how beautiful and what an opportunity that was. It's amazing having that duality from that same moment. So, you talk about the 12 summers, and I just think it's so precious what you've created here, and that you're aware of that with your children, that you're taking that on. That's awesome.
Yeah. What you said was profound. You know, it brings me some faith. Like whenever I talk to my son and he's like, I can tell like he's completely shut down already, you know, like nothing goes in and out. Might be a slight chance that he's still listening and he's still taking it in.
Somewhere it's being recorded somewhere.
Yeah, it's being recorded somewhere.
You and I have a close friend who raised two kids, and took his daughters. He's Jewish, and took his daughters to I'm gonna murder it. Whatever their rituals, whatever they do weekly, and to really steep them in the Jewish culture. And he talks about how over time, like, they got really resentful of him
Mm-hmm.
forcing them to go and learning the language and learning the scriptures and all this stuff. And he just kept at it. Like every week he would take them, every week he would take them, every week he would take them, and every week they would push back. And now as adults, I think his daughters are in their late 20s, and they've both expressed to him, Dad,
Mm.
I'm really thankful for that time that that I had that education, that I had that experience, because it's a part of my life and it's a part of who I am.
Mm.
And I think it's just biology that want, that need to push back, but the information's still getting in there somewhere.
Yes, yes, yes. Yeah. like from time to time, I'll check in with my son. Like sometimes when he's just annoyed or he's just into his own thing,
Yeah.
and I can tell when I talk to him, it's just like drawing blank, right? And I would just check in with him, like I just want to check in with you, man. You know, like, can you turn on your machine? Like, can you turn on the device? Like, turn on your phone a little bit. Like, and he gets it. He's like, no, it's being shut down right now. I was like, okay, turn it on for 5 seconds so I can talk to you. He's like, okay, it's on now. And he'll listen for a couple of seconds and go back to his like blank state.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's only 4. It's so interesting to see that. Yeah.
Incredible. That's brilliant though that you've learned that technique. You know, I think parents, well, I think human beings, we get into these state of minds where it's just like, you know, just shut up and effing listen to me. You know, like I'm delivering some gold here. Just listen. And you know, trust me, I made these mistakes, and we just try to force it on them, and we don't really do the listening in the moment to get that maybe they can't hear what we're saying, or maybe they're taking it the wrong way, right? It's the human instinct to, when they feel like they're being like when they're being triggered. I know this is a hot word right now, but you know, I consider being triggered as an emotional response to a communication. That's it. It's an emotional, there's some kind of chemical response. It doesn't mean that there's some kind of outcome that has to happen after that. It doesn't mean that people need to stop talking. It just means, hey, there's an emotional response. And the emotional response when I hear something I don't want to hear is typically to stop, to shut the ears and not want to listen anymore. So as the person speaking, if you really want to get across to that other human being, it's your job to try to get, I mean, it's a 2-part, right? The person has to realize that they're being triggered and like say something and be like, okay, hang on, I need to just like let this go because my emotions are running, right? And I want to hear what you're hearing as an adult. But then the person speaking has to hear that that person is shutting down and stop the communication and look for an alternative way to communicate. So what I hear is by you saying, hey, just give me 5 seconds, right? That is, you know, that emotional response of a child, which is, I'm doing my own thing. Leave me alone. I don't want you to take up all of my day. By you saying that, you're literally shutting down that trigger by saying, look, I only want 5 seconds. And in his little mind, he's like, okay, I can give you 5 seconds.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's something he can relate to, like, because he saw us like turn off the TV and turn it back on, so he knows the concept of turning something off and on. And he usually doesn't. He's not allowed to watch TV yet, too much TV yet. So, but he gets it, so he can relate to like, okay, I'm turning this on and off, and it seems to be working.
You know, the way it occurs to me is that as soon as you've figured out something that works, it no longer works.
Wait, say that one more time. What do you mean by that?
So as soon as you've got it down to a science of like how to communicate with him, it won't work anymore. You'll have to come up with a new science to it.
Probably, yeah, probably. There's a tapering off effect on the things I do and say to him. Like, it works really well the first time, and I have to be smarter and smarter and find ways to get to him. Yeah. But I think it's like, but the base of it is not like a technique or anything. It's just being present with him, you know, like to recognize that, like, as little boys, how many times we're just in our own world, right? I don't know what's happening in little girls' mind, but like I can relate to like little boys. Like, we're just like in our head, daydreaming or just like processing emotions.
Yeah.
You know, it happens. You know,
yeah.
by being present with him, like, I think it helps. Not all the time, I have to be honest. Like, I'm not successful 100% of the time. Sometimes he's just like, no, it's off. I'm not turning back on for you.
Yeah. No, it's good stuff. There's a really good book called I think it's called The Amazing Stages of Men by Alison Armstrong. And it's a really great book. I really experienced being gotten by that book. She talks about the stages that we as men go through from a child all the way through death. And it occurred to me as extraordinarily accurate. And one of the levels that she talks about boys is that everything is a game, and it's all about winning the game. And so as a parent, you want to create games that the boy can win at. Naturally, things like sitting still is not a game that he can necessarily win at. Like, that's just a part of being a boy. They get to that stage where they want to crawl and climb and jump all over everything, and that's part of that explorative phase. Like, you want to really allow them to experience that for themselves without shutting them down. Jordan Peterson talks about how he raised his kids, and he says, protect your head, be safe, protect your head, but otherwise, like as you were. And I think that there's that mentality of, as a child is going to be a child, and you can work with them and negotiate with them to behave in public, or there should be certain gravity consequences, right? You agree to that. If you don't do X, or if X happens, then this is the consequence, and it happens immediately, right? But I think otherwise, being able to have that opportunity to create games for them that they can win is important. So that's what, when I think about your kid and him, daydreaming and exploring and playing, like, that's what it makes me think about.
Yeah, I 100% agree with on the like gamify, like the routine of the day. Like we try something that really works really well for him is I got him this little like a blackboard or a whiteboard, and I basically sat with him and we draw like out everything that's important, like I think he needs to do throughout the day, right? Like begin with like in the morning he'll wake up and we'll go kiss mom and say I love you, right? That's task number one, and that's an easy one, right? And other ones are like eating fruits, go running around, ride your bicycle, right? These are the easy one that he can easily score a point. But I added those, like, okay, now you have to brush your teeth, right? Use floss, eat vegetables, or eat by yourself. Like you have to finish your own food. And there's one point I even added like drinking like green smoothie. Like I'm not talking about the green smoothie you get at the store. Like we make it. There's no sugar in it. It's just all leafy greens. It tastes gross, right? And at the end, I made it easy again. It was like bedtime stories, and then kiss mom goodnight, right? So he get a dot on each task he complete, and at the end of the day, it would be like, well, I usually check in like towards the end of the day. It's like, which one have you not done yet, right? Oh, you haven't run around? Okay, let's go run around. Have you ride a bicycle yet? Let's go ride a bicycle. And did you eat by yourself? Like he'll like happily check it, like one of them, and that really helps. It was fun for him, and he can see the result. Like he see the dots growing on the board, and he just takes ownership of finishing every task on that day because he won't get a dot. And I don't really equate the dot to any actual rewards, but I think completing the board is a reward by itself. That's gamification, right? It's just like human being has this weird get this weird satisfaction when we can check something off, right? So when he checks something off, he feels good. And when he finally completed the board, we actually got him a nice gift.
Oh, nice.
That he wasn't expecting. So
there's two lessons that I see in that are I think are really important. One is from your side. It's clear that you set him up to win. rather than letting him fail and then punishing him somehow for him failing. It's like you check in with him while there's still an opportunity to accomplish everything that he said to, everything that you've set out to accomplish, right? Before it's too late to check in. And then support him in getting those things done, which in one hand is a great bonding experience for father and son. It has him experience that his dad really has his back, like that you're really instilling in him, first and foremost, that you're there for him and you're not going to let him fail, that whatever it is in life that he takes on, like that you're going to be there for him, and it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
And you're building that trust that when you start to say you can do this, he's going to believe you. Even if it's tough, even if he has an experience of failing in the moment, he's going to know, like, if I'm really in over my head, my dad's going to come to the rescue.
Yeah.
And that's profound. And I don't think you realize, I don't think that was an intention of doing that, but that's.
Wow.
And, the other
thank
thing.
Thank you for pointing that out, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it really is. I'm really, it's just such an honor to know you, man. I'm bummed you're not coming back to the US for another year, and thankful for this technology called Zoom.
Yeah.
And then the other piece is I really see, he's in his fun stage right now.
Mm-hmm.
So everything is a game. And like we said earlier, like you're having him win at those games. And so the more he experiences wins, and that this chart that he has that he can win by completing these tasks, as he gets older and the tasks become less and less exciting, like mowing the lawn or right, whatever that is, he'll already have this trajectory of this, like, behind him, like he's used to the task. I know I don't think there's any rule book to, like, the right way to parent, but I think that there's things that work and things that don't, and I think that a lot of parents bring that task chart way later in the game, and it's more difficult to enroll the children into playing that game.
Yeah, that I agree. Yeah, it's a tough battle just to get them to brush their teeth. It was a real struggle for us to teach him to brush his teeth. Like, it's really, he's like fighting it to his death, like not to brush his teeth for 2-3 years. And now he's 4 years old, and now it's finally getting a little easier. He's like, okay, open your mouth, and he'll let us brush his teeth, and he will do it by himself too. And now our little daughter is going through that phase. She's like, no, you're not opening my mouth. You're not brushing my teeth. So it's like, okay, all over again.
Your daughter has teeth?
Yes, she's 1.5. So yeah, she has 2 molars up and down. So we're brushing her teeth already.
It was like just yesterday you flew.
I know.
One to have to be with your wife, to have her.
I know. Time just fucking flies, man. With little ones, it really flies. Yeah.
That's incredible.
And then that really motivate me to keep doing the 12 Summers podcast, because time really flies. And I talk to many fathers, and they're like, holy shit, really, it's 12 summers, because they remember them being little boys and how they grew up. Like, yeah, it's 12 summers, and like, shit, I have 6 left, right? I have 4 left. I have 8 left, right? And now we started there's a sense of urgency now. Like, yeah, like, yes, like changing diapers fucking sucks, right? Brushing their teeth is fucking boring and hard, and sometimes I don't want to do it, right? It's just annoying that I have to brush their teeth some days, right? But 12 summers, there's not a lot left, there's not a lot left. So
context.
Yeah.
I didn't have that with my daughter, so it's it's cherish it.
Yeah. Well, you're doing something. I mean, the path you have with your daughter is very different than, most fathers.
Yeah.
But I think you're doing it honorably, you know. And I see you guys together, and I think you're doing a good job. You know?
Thank you. Thank you. I do my best. Um, it's a struggle sometimes. She's an adult now. I didn't meet her until she was 12, and it was a struggle creating a relationship with her, and for a large variety of reasons. And now she's 23. She'll be 24 in September, which is crazy. And I think one of the things that I struggle with is, first of all, she's done. Right. As an adult, she's an adult. She's whole, perfect, and complete, just as she is. She's no longer my child. So, wanting to be close to her and wanting to guide her and teach her, especially given, there's a part of me that wants to make up for the time that I wasn't there. A lot of things I want to say, no, do it like this, or this is how you should, or, there's a lot of that present. And I really have to, take a minute and really look at how can I interact with her in such a way that it's adult to adult, and give her my experience, or ask her questions, in such a way that has her, do the looking and thinking, have her live the life that she wants to live. Because maybe even what it is that I want for her isn't what she wants for herself. So I really have to check in with her. I really have to check in and see, like, well, okay, maybe this isn't the path I want for you, but is this the path that you want for you?
Mm-hmm.
And if she says this isn't the path that she wants for herself, then I have a smidge more leeway to support and guide her, to find the path that she really wants. And so I think mostly what I try to do is I try to ask questions, or make, engage in conversations that have her really look and think, what is the path that she wants? Because she's badass, so she has the ability to create whatever life she wants. I think it's at that age, just being present to the future that you really want. Things are moving fast at that age as well, that you're willing to just kind of ride this roller coaster and just be like, oh, I'm just going to sit back and watch life cruise by, because I'm, in my 20s, I'm invincible. And then next thing you know, you're 44 and you're like, crap, where did my life go?
Is that how old you are? 44?
I just turned 44 July.
That's right, huh?
So just a few.
44 is coming for me too. I'm right after you.
Dude, and I'm a little jelly of you, man, because you're in Taiwan. You told me that you got the lockdown handled, and I don't know what to make of it here. So typically my piece is being on the water, whether it be, jet skiing, wakeboarding, sailing, sipping a beer on a boat, like just being out on the water. And I chose not to do that this year because of the state of, this COVID thing. Part of it is I don't want to experience COVID. I just don't. I think there's a high likelihood I would survive it.
Mm-hmm.
I have a friend of mine who's younger than me who died last week from it.
What?
And so, I don't know. I don't think we know enough about it.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and I also don't want to contribute to the shenanigans, either, right? The chaos. So, so I chose to stay home, and, I'm going nuts a little bit at home, but I guess I'm just doing what I feel like I need to do.
Yeah.
My part.
What's the death rate like right now? Like 1 in 100 or
No.
2 in 100 or?
Actually the death rate, I don't want to make anything up. Can we bring up numbers?
Yes.
Do you have not that I trust any of these sites, but do you feel like you have a site that's accurate?
Um, I trust I trust Google. um,
COVID. So last time I checked, the number of cases was skyrocketing, but the number of deaths was not that high.
okay.
So let's see here, July 4th. Yeah. So we're up to 11,694 cases currently in LA.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't see where it says deaths.
I see.
Let's see, confirmed. Total confirmed 125,000 deaths. So total deaths 3,689 deaths.
Okay.
This is just in Los Angeles County. In all of California, it's 303,000 confirmed cases, 6,814 deaths.
Okay. What's that percentage?
Yeah, well, but see, even the percentage isn't accurate, right? Because what we want to know is how many deaths are occurring currently.
Mm.
I'm totally pulling this out of my ass, but I think at least a portion of why there's less deaths is because our first responders, God bless them, are learning better ways to mitigate. So better ways to take care of patients that are causing long lives. I don't want to pretend like I know what I'm talking about, but I heard about a drug that's out that seems to be making a pretty big difference. So just with anything else in life, the more experience you get with something, the more you learn what works and what doesn't work. So I'd like to think that's what it is. But I honestly don't know. I'm not educated enough in that department.
Yeah, it looks like it's 2% right now based on the California number. I just did a quick calculation.
Okay.
And I think my point was that with something this serious like death, like I'm not comfortable with the 2% chance, Well, that seems high. That seems high to me.
That is high
at this moment.
Right?
Like 2% for death. Like, yeah, like that's seeing high, because it's like there's a 2% chance that I'm gonna win lottery. I'm gonna go fucking buy a lottery ticket.
Right.
But,
there's the other piece of it too, which is I've heard of people healthy as fuck, like really, really healthy men, who 6 weeks after they've quote unquote, they're still recovering. I know of a man who was sick for more than a month, he had COVID for almost 2 months. He was dealing with it. And we're talking like, severe flu symptoms, like massive body aches, right? We're hearing of people of all ages with all kinds of different outcomes. It's really random. And there's diminishing lung capacity. Who wants that? There's some people are getting blood clots and brain damage. I mean, who knows? Media, yeah, it's all fake news, whatever. There's some truth out there somewhere, but I just don't feel comfortable enough that I know what's really actually happening to believe that if I get it, there's going to be little to no impact.
Yeah, I'm with you. Like, I think it's perfectly fair to say that, like, personally, I don't want to experience it.
Yeah.
Right? Like, some people are taking more risk and, like, I'm okay with that. Like, but personally, I'm not willing to experience it, especially I have a kid, I have a child at home, and I have, now we're close to our parents, like we definitely don't want to experience that. So part of the sacrifice that like people in Taiwan have to take was one, I think, is to wear masks.
Yeah.
And two if you are coming in from another country, like say when when I can visit Taiwan in April, I have to self quarantine myself for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And it's not the same level of quarantine that we saw in LA. Like in LA, you can still go out and buy grocery. Like you know, I have to be home. Like I can't even step outside the door for 2 weeks. And it was boring as fuck, you know. And I'm so glad that Zoom is out, because I was on like a Zoom meeting with all different people, like on business or non-business. I'm like on a Zoom meeting on a daily basis. I'm like, okay, hey, you wanna get on the Zoom? Because I'm bored as fuck right here, man. But after 15 days, you know, I'm out, and they actually they call me, like the local the city. They have people like call me every day, following up with me, and they also gave me an app. I have to check in, so I have to log my body temperature,
Okay.
and I have to check on all the boxes where they have those symptoms, and they do that for 15 days, and I get out, and they keep track of me for another week. What else? What else they did here? That so the school they never paused the school. Restaurant never closed. Government never shut down. I think part of it is because we went through SARS like 10 years ago, and SARS was just an evil twin version of the COVID, right? The death rate is, I think it's close to 30-40%.
Wow.
Yeah, if you get it, like bye-bye, you know, that kind of thing. A lot of doctors and nurses and first responder die from that.
Wow.
You know, you have to, like, they basically lock down the whole hospital and no one can go home. And they just stay in there and fight for the patient and fight for themselves. So now, like, after that, the whole country, you know, like, hey, this is serious shit. So, and we're more prepared and willing to take the sacrifice to stop this. You know, like, but I realize it's just, you can't copy this and move it to California or US, because people have a different stand for like liberty and freedom, right? So when I'm like quarantining in the apartment that I was staying in, they actually track your phone. That's how they know where you are, right? Well, like, yes, you can go out without your phone, but who goes out without their phones nowadays, right? But so basically, they'll make it really hard for you, because, you know, you go out without your phone, like no Google Map, where you're gonna go, you know, what you're gonna buy, right? So they track you with your phones, and all the neighbors are on super alert. Like if I step out of the door and they see me on the security camera, they probably report me, right?
How do the neighbors know that you're under quarantine?
I tell them, like I call them, and because, you know, I let them know, like, hey, I'm here. I voluntarily told them, but I think they also know, because the city, they actually, they'll come visit you and give you like a care package with some food and some stuff to keep you not bored. So I think when they make that visit, your neighbors know.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's incredible. I mean, you said 20 million is the population there in Taiwan.
Yeah, 20 million people.
That's incredible that that you can organize something like that for so many people.
Yeah, rather quickly too. You know, yeah, the system really worked well. Like before even I board my flight in Los Angeles, I have to download this app, and I have to fill out all my information.
Wow.
So when I entered Taiwan, I got a text message right away. With the text message, I click a few buttons, bring out my profile, and I give it to the custom. They scan my profile so I can go like really quickly through. They don't have to fill out the forms and keep a long line at the airport, you know. So I pass through, like I fly through the custom, and there's like quarantine taxi waiting out there for you. So quarantine taxi only allows one passenger per taxi.
Oh, interesting.
And then take you straight to the place where you're quarantined.
Do you go ahead?
No, go ahead.
I was going to ask if you think something like that would be possible for the United States or for LA.
I don't think so. Just the phone tracking.
Yeah.
It will get on people's nerve. It actually got on my nerve. It got on my nerve. Like, I'm like, I didn't fucking give consent to anyone to track my phone. They just did. I don't remember like clicking a checkbox is like, here, me, Yinting Chu, I consent for the government to track my phone. No, they have the technology. And they've probably been using it. And now it's just a good time for them to tell the world, like, we're actually tracking you.
Right? Well, that's happening in the U.S. They're just not being straight about it.
Right. And the technology is available. It's being available for a long time, right? But like in the US, so okay, number one, on a personal level, like I'm like, okay, I'm glad, like part of me, I love living in the US and enjoy, like, it's a true free country. I truly enjoy my freedom in the US. I feel like if the government is overreaching, someone's gonna speak up before I do. Someone's gonna voice their concern loudly for everyone to know. No one seems to fucking care about their phone being tracked in Taiwan. Nobody voiced any concern. Nobody cared. Right? So that's a level of different perception of freedom and liberty. People here, most of them feel they're free. But for someone who's been living in the US for 20 years and look at like, oh, it's a different level of freedom. Yes, they're free. They're free to vote. They can choose who to be the mayor, to the president. They can travel freely, but the level of freedom is a little different. At least the perception or the requirement for freedom is different, right? So I don't think that's doable in the US. And it's not a bad thing, I think US need to come up with a different kind of strategy to deal with this. I think the problem we have right now is there's no strategy. We're just reacting to the crisis without a strategy. Let's say if we don't want to do like mass quarantine of people, then do massive testing, right? Do massive testing. I mean, US has the best biotech in the world. Why did we catch on the testing so late in the game? Remember when the CDC first released a test kit? It was faulty.
Yeah.
It was bad. I was embarrassed. I felt so embarrassed. I mean, US has the best pharmaceutical company and biotech in the world, and we can't develop a kit that works, So,
what occurs to me, something that I think I've seen is in this pandemic, this whole kind of situation is people are so willing to speak out about their complaints and what judgments and whatnot. There was so much pressure to get out a test, and the government was so resistant to communicate the specific details of what was happening, that it's like, all right, well, let's just get something out. Let's just get anything out to let people know, hey, look, there's a test and it's out. I could be way off on that. I mean, I'm not, I'm not a part of the part of that medical center, but that's the way that it's occurred to me a little bit about this whole process, is that it's been more about appeasing the complaints than it is about being straight. And I would have rather them said, hey, we are moving as quick as we can. We'll have a separate conversation. We'll do a special video conference on how these tests gets produced if you want to see it. But these tests, in order to have them be accurate, they're going to take 3 weeks. It's going to take us 3 weeks to get an accurate test. Now, we could put something out tomorrow that's not going to work very well, but we want to really make sure we're doing the right thing. So we're going to wait the 3 weeks. So it's, and I get it, but it's, you know what do you think about that?
I yeah, I think yes. I mean, what I hear is they need to communicate like what they're doing and be open about it, right? And I agree with you. It's not happening.
Yeah.
You know, uh, I think yeah, I really have no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
You know, and it really shows up on the numbers. You know, like currently, uh, like USA's number is like skyrocketing.
Yeah.
You know,
People are done.
um,
They're like, hey, we've quarantined for months, and it's doing what it's doing. It hasn't done what it hasn't done. People are surviving. Whatever. It's summertime. I'm hitting the beach. Peace.
yeah, exactly. And the truth is, everyone does it for like really, really just like self quarantine for a good 4 or 5 weeks. It's done.
Yeah.
Like here, it's we're done. We're finished. We're done with the crisis. You know, like here we're doing pretty good just by sacrificing, by putting on masks. You know, and doing that, we're done with the crisis.
And
And
that's
school never had to pause. Kids still go to school, and now back to normal.
incredible.
So so
I
looking back, that seems to be the right way to do it.
Yeah.
You know, if you truly value your freedom, this is the right way to do it, because um, nobody, like, I talk to a lot of people in Los Angeles. They don't feel free to move around, right? Like if you go out, you feel you have this fear of getting infected, and or infecting others, infecting the elders in your home, right? Is you don't feel really free. Yes, you're allowed to do whatever the fuck you want to do, but
I don't feel free to go out. I mean, I've been here for
right,
3 months and I haven't left my house hardly at all. Uh,
right,
don't get me wrong. I've got plenty of like fun projects. I have no shame going to Home Depot to buy some wood and some supplies. I'll put my mask and whatever gloves when needed. But otherwise, but I don't. You know, I was telling you before we started this call, like during my birthday, I'm a water guy. I love going to the water. Like it's my peace. And I chose to not go to the water. My uncle's got a place in Newport Beach, relatively, private. He's got jet skis at his house,
mm-hmm,
and I chose not to go because I didn't feel safe.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
There's a lot of people out there who just they just don't care about anything. They're like, yeah, whatever, I'm gonna get it. It's just like getting the flu and whatever. Everybody's overreacting. One thing that I really don't understand is this resistance to wearing masks. I mean, how is it any different than no shirt, no shoes, no service?
Mm-hmm.
Explain that. Like how are we infringing upon people's rights to ask them to wear a mask? I mean, in China and Japan, it's like it's a Tuesday, everybody's wearing masks. It's like if you have symptoms, if you just want to be courteous, like whatever, everyone just wears masks. It's just a thing. And
Yeah.
I don't understand. I can't even get into that mindset. Do you have any insight to that? I don't
I
know that's an
I have none. I remember when I was in LA and we were watching the news, that sound like Asian old lady got beat up in a supermarket for wearing mask, right?
What?
And yeah, because they're like, oh, because at the beginning, I think the CDC said only the sick should wear a mask, right? And that time I already knew that was the wrong thing to say,
Yeah.
because like we went through this, like we know that wearing masks helps everyone.
Yeah.
So that's one. So I remember when I was in LA, I would go to the supermarket really late. Uh, and a few times I went to the Asian supermarket because I know the people there will fucking wear a mask and you don't get in trouble with that.
Oh.
But And after a while, I started going to like Roth, you know, like non-Asian supermarket. And I saw the employees starting to wear masks. And I like, oh, good, it's catching up. Like people know it's a good thing. It's protecting yourself, because a lot of the virus doesn't just live in the air. It lives in liquids, right? So when people sneeze or cough, the droplets, the water, the liquid droplets will land on your skin or on your face, or you get breathed in, and that's how you get sick. So the mask actually block those, not super effectively, like compared to an N95, right? I'm talking about like a normal cheap mask. It has like 30% or 40% of the efficacy of an N95, but still 40%. I'll take 30% with the 2% death rate, right?
Right.
I'll take that.
For those of the people watching who may not be familiar, you're I'm going to get this wrong. Be a biologist.
Yeah, I have a degree in biomedical engineering.
Yeah.
So my background is biology. So it helps, and people started to wear a mask, you know, and now like the government is telling everyone should wear a mask, right? And the way I see it is just like people don't like to change.
Yeah.
Like, remember how when seatbelt was invented, how long did it take to catch on, right?
How long did it? Did it take a while?
It took a while, right? And even though and I see that in Taiwan, okay, this is perfectly fair. So when we were driving in California, right, like everyone is required to wear seatbelt, right? Not in Taiwan, right? Only the drivers. Only in the front, you're required to wear a seatbelt. In the back, you're not required to wear a seatbelt. Took us 3 years to catch on in Taiwan, right? So that's fair, right? Like, yes, we're willing to wear a mask, but fuck you, seatbelt, right? So I understand that. Like people just don't like to change, right? And I told my friends, like, yeah, like, yes, wearing mask, like you're required to wear a mask, you feel your freedom is being stripped away. But come on, dude, we've been driving and we're being told to stop at the red light. There's no even people watching, right? It's just a light and you're stopping.
Yeah.
Right. How much freedom is taken away from you from you being stopping at the red light?
Yeah.
You know, no, just playing by the rules so the society can function. It doesn't mean that we can always do whatever the fuck we want to do. We can think about anything we want to think. We can talk about anything we want to talk. But when it comes to like certain things like public safety and all that, I don't know. I don't have the final answer to that. You know, like I said, what worked in Taiwan might not work in California. It doesn't mean that we're wrong in California. It just means the government need to find something that works for Californians.
Yeah.
You know, and they need to, I don't know how they're going to do it, but they need to find a way to make it work for people here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's got to be something. And I think people are getting restless. You know, it's almost like the waterboarding effect.
Say more about that. Okay. Well, tell me about the waterboarding effect.
You know, not that I claim to be an expert, but for the last like 4 months, we've had this like semi lockdown, right? Where it's like, yeah, you should stay at home. You really shouldn't go to work. We're going to close down, you know, bars and restaurants and other social places. We're going to close all those places down. If you work at a real company, like I was working at Disney, I was let go because of all this. The rest of the employees got furloughed. So, you know, instant. So there's maybe like 5% or less. I don't know. I made that number up, but a small percentage of people still working at Disney. So everybody is still on furlough. And the idea was everybody stay home and we'll get better and then we'll all go back to work. So we'll do a massive shutdown and then we'll get better and then we'll go back to work. But what's been happening is that only a portion of people have been locked down and the rest have been doing whatever. And so it's been this, rather than like what you said in Taiwan was like a full on, no joke lockdown, right? Here it's been like, yeah, you should stay at home. You don't have to, but you should stay at home. So people are going out, people are, doing whatever. But because of that, it's been months that we've been doing this. So it's like, it's this half, we're not fully back to normal. We're not fully locked down. We're kind of somewhere in the middle. And it's just like drip, drip, drip. When do I get to go back to work? I can't. We're not going back to work yet. Oh, now there's more cases. Oh, are you kidding me? So you're telling me the last 4 months of all the staying at home that I've done have been for nothing? Or like, hey, I lost my job and I'm sitting at home by myself, and you've got all these other people like having these. Have you heard about these COVID parties?
What's a COVID party? Sounds like fun.
Yeah. So these kids are having these huge parties, and they're inviting someone who has COVID to the party. And then they're raising all this money, and the person who catches COVID first gets the money, gets the pool of money.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Right? So this is just like one of the many things, the kids in their spring break didn't care, and then they went home and infected all of their families, and all these things. But it's like the people who don't care to that aspect, who are really being completely and totally flip about it, they're, in my opinion, makes the fact that me and many others have lost our jobs completely irrelevant. Like, it diminishes the fact that so many of us are out of work because some people just don't care and aren't taking precaution.
Yeah, I see that. It's like to make it like personal for me is like, let's say I go work out in the gym, right? I go and I don't go full-heartedly and without discipline, right? And after 20 days, I'm like, I'm sore all the time, but where are my muscles? Like, where are my guns? They're not showing up. Okay, I'm gonna give up. This fucking workout thing don't fucking work. That's a lie. That's a lie. People say you go to the gym, you're gonna grow muscles. That's a lie, right? No, because I only did it without discipline for 20 days, and I don't see any results. I'm frustrated. No, but people who are getting results, they've been doing that for months or years, and so.
And I want to be clear about this too. Like, I think there's a big difference between people who continue to work and people who are being flip about it. So, for example, I have a good friend of mine who runs a chiropractic business, a holistic business, and he never shut down. But him and all of his employees are being safe. They're wearing masks. They're staggering. They're staggering the people who come in. They're wiping everything down with alcohol in between every patient. They're requiring patients to wear masks. They're being smart about it. Mm-hmm. So I don't have a problem with that. This last go round, actually, a couple weeks ago, before we hit this big wave again after the protesting, I went to a couple restaurants. I went to In-N-Out and a couple others, and it was like, and they were really, in my opinion, doing a bang up job. Really, all the employees were wearing masks. They were all being clean and hygienic. They were wearing gloves, washing hands. As soon as one person left, they came and cleaned the table. The tables were, only every other table was open. The other ones had signs, do not sit. I'm like, amen. I commend those people. And I think that all the restaurants that I particularly saw doing that were doing a great job of that. And I have no problem seeing them open and going. What I refer to specifically when I say what I say about people being flip, or the people who are out, really have no interest in wearing a mask at all whatsoever, are just schmoozing and hanging out and drinking, or just whatever they're doing, being extremely social and not having any thought or care in the world about impact.
Yeah, I know. And I'm, yeah, the whole time you're talking about, I agree with you. And but the other half of my brain is thinking about In and Out.
Yeah.
So delicious. I agree with you. I'm like, oh man, In and Out.
I know.
That's something I truly miss.
Yeah. Dude, I went the day that it closed down. I was so bummed. I went in, I think this was like last week, and I went in to order, and the guy was literally right in the middle of. He's like, yeah, just an hour ago. He's like putting closed signs on the rest of the tables.
Oh,
No,
that sucks.
no more in restaurant service. And I'm just like, oh man,
Yeah.
we have to close down again. These poor people.
Take it to go.
I did. Oh, I did.
Oh,
Oh, don't you worry. Don't you worry. Come on now.
double, 2 fries, and a
Yeah.
milkshake.
And,
That'll be that's my
and
winning formula.
I'll throw it in the fridge just in case you guys go out of business.
Yeah.
The drive-through still good.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
What are some of the projects you're working on? Like, I know you're like in shutdown. You're just quarantine your house. Like, what are some of the stuff you're working on right now?
Yeah.
Are you allowed? Well, number one, are you allowed to talk about it? Because I know some of the stuff you're doing are like highly confidential.
Yeah.
But you can talk about the fun stuff.
Yeah, I can. Well, luckily that was only while I was at Disney.
Okay.
Which is actually funny because I worked at NASA at a variety of NASA centers and a variety of NASA projects for 20 years, and I didn't have nearly the confidentiality agreement that I did while I was working at Disney.
Oh.
My friend.
So now you're out of Disney. Can you talk about it?
I can't.
You're still bound by it for 3 years? There should be an expiration date on that, right? The NDA?
Yeah, NDA. Really, based on my own personal honor system, it's until the project goes public.
I see.
Yeah, and which is a bummer because we were going to go public. We were going to go to South by Southwest and deliver our project, and we were literally, no shit, we were loading up the trucks. We were loading up the trucks to go to South by Southwest, and we got pulled into a meeting, and they pulled us aside. They're like, oh, we just want to meet for a minute. And we met, and they're like, South by Southwest is closed. They shut South by Southwest due to COVID.
Oh.
Like, oh, we were all so bummed. We'd been pulling all-nighters for weeks trying to get ready. It was a very last-minute thing. So we were just, all of our teams were just running ragged, trying to be ready. And the day we were shipping out, Austin shut it down. So that was a bummer, but I'm kind of glad because the venue would have been small at that point. Everybody was backing out. So as far as what I'm doing right now, they're all personal projects, right? So I've been building robots for NASA and then Disney for 20 years, since '99, and my job has been, electromechanical technician and lab manager. So all of my work is done in-house. It's all done in person. So this is the first time that now I have to come up with a way to make money outside of going into an office. Mm. So I'm doing a few things. I think the biggest thing right now is I'm producing conferences.
Oh.
So I started up a company. Actually, a friend of mine started a company, and him and a couple other people, and he brought me into it. And now we're redesigning. We're officially, our name is official. We're Ripple Effects is our company, and we're doing a variety of events, whether it be a large scale conference. I supported one conference that had a few thousand people, which was a really profound conference. We did a bunch of meetings for big companies where they're doing their kind of, year end, board meetings, who's coming on, who's new, who's leaving, that kind of thing. So, anything goes, whether it be, a professional with a considerable amount of video editing and doing something professional, or just a company that wants to do, a webinar and have a meeting with all their clients. So that's been the thing I think that's taken up most of my time. And otherwise, I've also started a project with CK Lin and a bunch of others. We're building a custom design mask / helmet for surgeons and dentists. So go back to work and feel safe. So that's been something else. And then, in the meantime, I've been trying to make money from my hobbies. So I'm doing some woodworking, doing some building some custom benches and tech systems. Been doing some tech support, so doing some soldering and some robotics assembly and some fun side projects there. A lot of 3D printing, actually. I just invested in the largest resin printer that exists right now.
Whoa!
I'm pretty stoked. That should be here in less than a week. It's a ginormous range. You could print a helmet in one fell swoop.
Wow!
Yeah.
Wow! What are you gonna do with it?
Well, I'm going to use it for the company that we're building these masks for the dentists and surgeons, but I also intend to use that, for any other opportunity to make some money on the side. Rent whatever's needed, whether I be going to Etsy or Upwork or whatever whatever people need. Doing some CAD design and 3D printing, some drone flying, and just kind of a variety of things right now. My roommate is moving out, and I don't have a steady income, and I'm seriously debating buying an RV and living in an RV full time.
We're gonna put your gigantic 3D printer in your RV.
Yeah. So I found the RV. This is something I've been wanting to do for years, although I had planned to do it much, in a couple more years, not right now. There's an RV called the Newmar Canyon Star 3927 is the model number. The brand new 2021 version, which is now in production. It comes out with a diesel engine, Cummins diesel engine, and the new Freightliner body frame, air ride in the back, like some new bells and whistles that make it really awesome.
Okay, it's tell me what's it called again. I'm gonna look for it right now.
Newmar, so 2021 Newmar Canyon Star.
How do you spell Newmar?
Newmar.
Okay, Newmar.
Canyon space
Star,
and it's the model number 3927, and really you could look at
3927.
3927. It's a toy hauler, so it's got a garage in the back.
Holy shit, that thing is huge.
Yeah, it's a 39 foot RV.
Oh my god, that's wow.
Yeah,
it's a moving hotel.
It is. So what's cool about it, it's got a garage in the back. And so I have this design. Actually, you can't see it because I've got a virtual background, but I've actually designed a layout where I have my video production. So I've got my audio mixer, my video mixer, my multiple computers, speakers, my stupidly huge 50-inch widescreen, ultra wide monitor, my light, camera, all that shit. I built my own custom desk with a height adjustment. I built that all. And then behind me is my tech station where I do all my tech work. And then beside me is my custom printer. So I've got 4 3D printers. So cleaning station, all that shit. And so what I've done is I've designed it to fit inside the space of this RV. So I'm doing like a trial run to see if I can deal with space. Because I'm super nerdy. So I literally taped off the floor to make sure that I could fit and function and do all the
That's amazing.
in the back of an RV, and I can.
So you're really taking this seriously. You're really going for it, huh?
Yeah, yeah. One of the cool things that I'm already looking, because I love doing woodworking and stuff too.
Mm.
In the back of this garage, it's got this hydraulic, this lift, this electric lift. It's got a bunk bed on top, and then on the bottom, it's got these two folding benches that you can sit on that when they fold down, make a bed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull those benches out and mount the desktops to those brackets so that I have adjustable benches. So when I travel, I'll raise my desks and printers up, drive my motorcycle in the back, and whatever else I need, load up and hit the road. Then when I park, drop everything down and I'm good to go.
Wow. Amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. You should broadcast your journey along the way. I bet people would love to watch it. Actually, you should start broadcasting the things you're doing now. Yeah. I bet people love watching that shit. I'll watch that. You know, make it into a video and do a little 10 minutes, 30 minutes updates on the stuff you're doing to make that happen.
Yeah, no, I need to just start publishing. I've got a bunch of footage right now, and I haven't started. And I'll one of the things that I really desperately.
What's holding you back?
I mean, what I would normally say is time, but we both know that's not the real thing. So I've got to really take a minute to figure that out, because if I had taken the time to look at that, I don't know, maybe it's a fear of failure, maybe it's a fear of being in the public spotlight. But I just need to say fuck it and just do it. I think honestly what would be great is if I really started publishing, because as a man, I've learned a lot from the men's weekend and the technology and the men's team that we're a part of, and the leadership training. And I can see that part of being a man is being clear and concise, black and white, powerful, take action, and move forward. And part of that is, how we want to be perceived. And I think there's a biological truth to that and why that exists. And then there's the reality, which is what we deal with as men behind the scenes, right? To really be a stand-up man in the world is not easy. And it's certainly a thankless job. So what I'm dealing with that I don't like to show is the struggle of, first of all, I moved out here from a 3 bedroom, 2.5 bath, 2-car garage house that I lived in for 10 years, that I owned and lived in for 10 years. So I've got a lot of stuff to get rid of to squeeze into this RV. And I'm dealing with, first of all, I'm dealing with, is this a right choice? This is a $200,000 RV. And I currently don't have a job, right? No steady income. So there's that side, that little voice on the side that's like, what are you doing? Then there's the reality of the lifestyle of living in an RV. Where am I going to stay next? How am I going to find internet? How much is it going to cost per night to park this thing? Where, power, electricity, water, there's RVing's great, but there's a realistic life change to it. And, then there's the tiny little voice that's like, well, maybe Disney will come back online and they'll want you back. Which likely isn't going to happen for another 9 months, but there's just a lot to deal with. Am I making the right decision? And you could say I'm mind fucking it to no end. But it's definitely got me doing a lot of looking and thinking about whether this is the right path for me, and am I doing it for the right reasons? And then how do I proceed? And then without any structure in life right now, no 9-to-5 job, no family, nobody in the house. How do I, stay consistent stay in action, stay motivated, and make all this happen. So there's a lot of pieces to this puzzle.
I see.
So stay tuned.
Well, you're the one of the most motivated and busy unemployed men I know. I mean, seriously, with what happened, you know, might seem unfortunate on the first sight to you. I think it might be a blessing in disguise for you, because you're just not the kind of man who needs Disney.
Yeah.
You know, you don't need Disney. You know, you don't need a 9 to 5 job. I mean, I really see that you're taking ownership with a lot of things you do, and with that you can do anything you want, you know. And like, just look at the projects you're doing. Like, how many people who can say like, oh, I'm unemployed, and this is what I'm doing. No, you're doing more shit than a person who's working full time, right? And I think it's important for you to see the value of the things you're creating and in yourself before the world will see it. You know, if you think this is worth nothing, and that's how can you ever communicate that to the world? You know, which I don't think you're right on this. I think a lot of things you do is fucking amazing. It's meaningful, right? Producing conferences. I mean, this is what people need right now. People crave connection.
Yeah.
Remember, like I told you, when I was in quarantine, I do 8 fucking Zoom meeting a day.
Yeah.
People crave connection and learning, right? So if people, like, if their conference is canceled, they still want it. So I think that, and to able to produce a good quality online conference, which I know you guys are doing, is not easy.
Yeah.
Like, I've been on a few like online like concert, which is like a conference, you know, and it was horrible. And it was heartbreaking because I love the musician and love their music. If it's just if it can be like just decent, I'll love it. But it wasn't. The quality was bad. The transition was horrible, right? And the whole time I was watching the Zoom concert, I was like, oh, if they have bass, they're gonna kick ass. You know, if they had you, it would be different. You know.
Yeah.
And producing the mask, I mean, that's just a high purpose job, you know, high purpose, because I know like how that's not easy, right? And you guys don't have to do it, and you guys don't do it for money. You guys really want to do it for helping the first responders, right? How many people can say they have a project like that? That's just awesome. And to do this, I mean, you're bringing your NASA engineering like mindset into this RV thing. I can see that. Like, how do I fit everything in this space? I'm going to do a trial run, you know, like, yeah, fuck yeah, man. You know, put on a few video cameras and start putting out content. You know, like you gotta start with episode 1.
Yeah.
That's the most difficult. And once you get it started, you just like, yeah, we done that. That's in the past. And now you can think about like what you really want to do for the content and other stuff.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for that. And I just want to interject. I actually have episode 1. It's an amazing conversation between me and my daughter. So, to all you listeners out there, I'm gonna release that video this week.
I'm gonna put the link right beside next to my podcast, so people can follow you and on the potentially the amazing journey you might be on. Like, for me, I always envy the man who can get off the grid. You know, think like Matrix, like get off the grid, right? Like don't get stuck in the 9 to 5 job. If you have the talent, you have the means, you have the discipline, get off the fucking grid and live your fucking life. That's what I believe in. You know, create your own dreams. Like, yeah, you're doing something amazing for Disney, but that's Disney's dream. That's the company's dream. It's not your own dream. You know.
Yeah.
So go after your own stuff. Like at the beginning, we talk about like kids with like we gotta make everything fun for them, right? Maybe that's what you need to think about. Is this fun for you?
Yeah.
If it is fun for you, then keep doing it. Eventually, you'll find a way to bring the cash in, which I totally see it for you. Like people will follow this. This is unique. This is fun. This is bold. Yeah, and you have the technical background to do something cool with it. You know, like I would fucking go on YouTube and watch someone just make a bench, like a wooden bench, like woodwork. Like I can watch that for hours, right? You know, imagine the things you can do with it. Make 10-minute, 5-minute videos, and people will watch that shit for sure.
All
Do
right.
it, man.
What do I call it? What do I call my channel? What I'm doing all these different things.
Yeah, you're asking for ESL to come up with something for you. That's just you're not doing yourself any service.
No.
Um, but I think the truth is, I think you already have it somewhere in your subconscious. Like you already know what's gonna call. You know, like it's already somewhere. You just need to discover it.
Yeah.
Take discipline to do it. Spend an hour to discover what's the right, how you want to call the channel. And the beautiful thing is you can fucking change it if you don't like it after a month.
Yeah.
Just call it something else. Don't let that be the thing that's stopping you.
Yeah. All right, fuck it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it all.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make it happen. Let's go.
Do it. Yeah, it's you know, I think this is like the way we talk to ourselves, the way we have our internal conversation, it really that conversation, the way it's like when we're a little boy, it's there already, right? So like you said, it's like we have to recognize like sometimes when we like talk negative to ourselves, and we have to catch that and realize that that might be a pattern that was installed into us when we're young, and that's no longer serving us.
Yeah.
Right. We have to learn ways to block out the negative talk and bullshit, uh, and find new ways to process and make decisions, you know, and make it fun for yourself. Gamify the shit.
You know, actually what I find out is like I stress myself out. Like I'm doing something that I actually find is fun, but somehow I find a way to stress myself out about it. So I'm finding now that you know, really what it takes is continually checking my context. Like what's my context right now?
Yeah.
And like just realizing, you know, hey, what you're doing right now is actually fun.
Yes. Yes.
It's okay to enjoy. It's okay to yeah.
Yeah. When you have fun, the rest of the world will have more fun.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. So
I miss you here in LA, man.
yeah, me too. Me too. I might find the chance to go back.
You should if there's any way for you to make it back for the 24th of July, it would be a life-altering event.
What's the 24th of July?
We're having a sit.
A what?
A sit.
A sit. Ah, okay. Nice.
So I would, I would give anything to experience that with you. If that's on your radar, I would love to have you here for that.
I see. Probably not July 24th.
It's coming quick.
I
Yes.
know.
Away.
I know. Yeah. Right now, there used to be 21 flight between LA and Taipei
Yeah.
a week, 21 flight a week. Now there's only 2 a week. So
Wow.
it's hard to get on the flight. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So, but yeah, we'll talk offline about that more because I'm interested to learn
Yeah.
about that. Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
Exciting times. I think it's just, I think, this is all part of, I think what I'm going through, as a man and as, as a human being, and part of what we're all going through right now is this transition into something else, and really dealing with in real time the things that really stop us in life.
Mm.
You know, I I think that it's inwards. Like you were saying earlier, it's that voice. It's our own view of ourself that that I can or I can't do what I'm doing, or I'm not good enough, or people aren't going to want to pay for my services, or people aren't going to want to pay to see this, or whatever that is. That's the real stopper, not the actual taking action.
Mm-hmm.
Where the juice lies is in actually just taking action. And I find that too, the more I take action, the more I move forward, the more clear things become. And it's only when I stop and examine my belly button lint that I get it slows me down.
Yeah. It's yeah, that's what I pay attention to when I talk to my children is like I don't want to install any negative like program in their head. I mean, I'm sure I am already. There's no way I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
I'm sure I'm doing that, but I'm just paying attention so I don't do too much of that without paying attention,
Yeah.
you know, because I have those programs. I have doubt, I talk myself out of doing fantastic stuff all the time. But then I also learned to talk myself into doing stuff that I think is impossible, uh, and make progress every day. And just gotta take the win and forget the lose, forget all the defeat, and keep moving on. You know.
I think it's why it's so important to have a community um, that surrounds you. Uh,
Yes.
Especially if you're a man, that you have some men, and if you're a woman, that you have your women. Um, Not to say that it can't be intermixed, but there's something.
Mm-hmm.
I know that my men will not, like the men that are close to me, like you and others. They just won't. If I'm talking some bullshit, or if I'm off in something, whether it is that I have some grandiose scheme that's I'm just believing my own bullshit, you'll call me out on it, or if
Yeah.
if I'm in my head about something, that you'll stand up for me and push me forward, lift me up.
For
And
sure.
there's just nothing, especially in this time more than any, like you have to communicate with those that are close to you,
Yeah.
and make sure that you're mentally on the right path, that anything you need to express and get out, that that you do that, and um, that you just, whatever it takes to stay in action. I find the only time that I get screwy is when I stop taking action.
Mm, I 100% agree. Yeah, it's important to have a tribe or a circle, a group that loves you and accepts you. You know, not any group, but a group that really like honor who you are, accept you.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, 100% with that.
Yeah.
You know,
We'll have to do another podcast and talk about the the preciousness of having a tribe and having your own pack.
For sure. That is the, you know, like I've been working alongside with many successful people, you know, or happy, successful, rich people. They all have their like tribe. They just don't talk about it. They never talk about it, you know. And, like I think the truth is, a lot of them, for them, it's just a natural way of being. They're just always with people who support them and love them and help them all the time. It's just how they live, and that's how they get to the top, you know. um, I haven't met anyone that's without a tribe or circle of awesome people around them, you know. You know. So with that, do you have any last comments? Uh,
I think my my last comments are we're all dealing with something, regardless of who you are and where you are in the world right now. We're all dealing with this situation, and we're all dealing with it the best that we can, given the tools that we have and given who we are. We're all trying to make the best of it. We're all in this together, and we're all going to get through this in the end, and stand strong, hold each other up, and keep marching on.
fuck yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you, Mr. Bass. We'll do another one after you launch, I would say, at least 5 episodes of your own show, and we'll talk about it.
I can't wait. I'm looking
All
for
right, man. Fucking do it. All right, man.
Yeah.
I can't wait either. All right. Thank you so much. I'll talk soon.
All right. Cheers.